Thanks. So good morning, everyone. And last year at EuroPython, I gave a talk about overcoming imposter syndrome. And it was basically me talking for 30 minutes, saying that I feel like a potato in a room full of French fries. And in that talk, I had a slide about mentoring. And after the talk, one person from the audience came up to me and asked, hey, your mentoring, your talk was great. Can you dig a little bit more about this part about mentoring? And I told him, hey, mentoring itself is a huge topic, and it would need a whole new talk. And the person told me, there you go. You have the topic for next EuroPython. And here I am, as usual, pretending to know what I am talking about. And if my talk is a disaster today, you know whom to blame. Is that person here? Yeah, I'm glad he doesn't do the same mistake twice, attending my talk, I mean. So let us get into mentoring. So we live in an age of information, right? There is information everywhere. If I need to center a div, I can just Google it. I see a Python error, I can look up in Stack Overflow. If I need to rewrite my resignation letter in Shakespeare English, I can ask ChatGPT. But why do we need humans in the loop? It's because what we look for is not information all the time. It's interpretation, a perspective, a voice that says, hey, I've been there, I screwed it up, and this is what I learned. And if that voice comes from a person whom we can connect with, whom we can share our dreams, hopes with, it definitely hits differently. And that is what mentoring is all about. You know, in the movie Matrix, there is something called glitch, where humans help other humans. That is what mentoring is. And I am Manivannan Selvaraj, so I work as a principal engineer at Experian, and prior to that I worked for Slack as a staff engineer, and prior to that I worked in PayPal. I have about 20 years of experience in engineering, and I have worked with mentors myself, and I have mentored a lot of people, and both are rewarding things to do. And that is why I wanted to give this talk, and of course the spark from the person from last year's EuroPython. So digging a little bit more on why we need a mentor, right? So every superhero also have mentor. Like Peter Parker has Tony Stark, and Harry Potter has Dumbledore, Luke Skywalker has Yoda, and of course you are also a superhero, and you can do much better. I mean, you can be a much better superhero with a mentor. And a mentor helps you see the bigger picture when you're drowned in Jira tickets, production issues, mysterious bugs. A mentor could ask you, this is all great, but what are you building for yourself with this? Career, you can't build career by closing tickets, right? They give you perspective, not answers all the time. You know, I can Google how to write a Python function, but I can't Google, should I stay in this team for next 6 months, or should I switch teams? And a perspective on that, a mentor can give. And a mentor is a person who supports you in things tutorials don't teach, like self-worth, burnout, negotiations, and a lot of other things, fighting imposter syndrome. So how do you find a mentor? All you need to do is look around. I mean, there are potential mentors everywhere. And again, we live in a digital era, right? There is social media where you can look up people who inspire you. And when you look up a person who inspires you, don't start with a proposal, like, can you be my mentor for rest of my life? And that will really scare people. Rather, ask, I'm trying to learn this new skill. I know you are very good at this. Can you help me? Give me some tips. Where do I start? And find someone who is already where you want to go. Like, say you want to get to a staff engineer position. look for other staff engineers or senior staff engineers who have already went through what you are going through. And look for people who give feedback, not just compliments. Of course, saying great job is a great thing, but when someone says great job, but money, don't name variables money 1, 2, 3 again. That is an actionable feedback, right? That is what you need to look for in mentors. And of course, reach out to people who scare you a little. Like if they are 10 levels above you, that's well and good. That nervousness and sweaty thing, when you talk to them, that is how you grow. And mentors don't always come with the title. I mean, they just help and go away sometimes. Now, let us get into mentoring model. So you found a mentor. Now, how do you work with a mentor? So this acronym, I did not come up with this. So this is from the book 1 Minute Mentoring by Ken Blanchard and Claire Diaz. So number one, you need to have a mission. Something like, I want to get promoted to senior staff engineer. I want to learn this new skill. I want to do world domination. Something that is clear and you want to do. And I want to do my first open source contribution. That is a very good, thing to have a mentor for. And my friend Jürgen is doing a talk later today at 4 p.m., I believe. So look out for that talk if you want to contribute to open source and don't know where to get started. I would have felt much better if I had this talk back at the beginning of my career to contribute to open source. I didn't know where to get started. That is a good talk if you want to get started with open source. And number two, you have a mission now. And after that, you need to look for engagement. Like, think about a software project, right? So say you have a huge team and it involves cross-team collaborations. Initially, we would meet often, right? Until everyone is in the same page, design decisions are made, people can work independently. Then we'll reduce the frequency of meeting. Once we have operating rhythm, right? And same thing applies for mentoring as well. Initially, you will have to meet often. Of course, in whatever schedule works for your mentor and yourself. Be respectful of each other's time. And the next one is network. Sometimes for your mission to succeed, you might need network. You might not have the network, but your mentor might have. And a mentor might help you get that network. An example could be, say, your mission is to get a job in a company like Google. You may not have a person who is working in Google, but your mentor might. Once you have trust and mentor knows your strengths and weakness, they can vouch for you to their connection and they can put in a referral for you. And that could get you an interview. That is the network thing. Both mentor and mentee, they share their network with each other. And opportunity. So sometimes we are so focused on our work, we don't see if we are ready for the next level or we may not even see some things which we are qualified to do. And those things mentor can help identify and gently push us to do those things. And last one is review and renewal. Like any project, so we would need to review the mission and the progress, and if required, change gears. So here I want to tell a story. Back a couple of years ago, I worked for a company. And I got an invite that says one-on-one reverse mentoring. So that was from CTO, Chief Technology Officer. The person whose calendar is overbooked than Friday night pizza giants. So when I saw this invite, I thought it was a prank. Maybe it was a phishing email. I even thought about forwarding that email to security@companyname.com. But no, it was real. So this person, who was the CTO at the time, I was a senior engineer. And he genuinely wanted to learn from people like me. And so I was so excited. I prepared slides, logs, a mini TED talk, and went to this meeting. And I started explaining. And he was listening patiently, curiously, and nodding his head as if I'm explaining the secrets of universe with the Jira tickets I solved. I mean, a person at this level, he doesn't have to listen to me like that, right? But when that person does, it flips a different switch in our brain, which says, maybe something I have valuable to share. And that is what it. The best leaders, they never stop learning, especially from the team that they lead, even though those people are still Googling, every week, what is the difference between rebase and a merge in Git. So what did I learn from that one-on-one reverse mentoring? It's that mentoring isn't just one way. It is not top-down. So both mentor and mentee learn from each other. So now that we saw some things about finding a mentor, working with a mentor. Now let us getting on to working with a mentee, like you playing the mentor role. Now, who can mentor? Am I ready to mentor? So if we have to answer this question, I'll ask you a few questions. Like, have you ever written a to-do in your code saying, fix this later, and you never fixed it? Okay. Have you ever raised a pull request, and the pull request reviewer asked you, can you add unit tests? And you said you will add the tests in next pull request, and that pull request never came? And have you ever told with full confidence and zero empathy, it works on my machine? So if you have answered to any of these questions, then you definitely qualify to mentor. So I was just kidding with those questions. The basic answer to who can mentor is anyone can mentor. Anywhere in your life or career journey, there are still people, behind you in the stairs. You can mentor them. So if you are a senior staff engineer, there are people who are senior engineers whom you can mentor. If you are a senior engineer, you can mentor entry-level engineers. If you are an entry-level engineer, there are people who are still in college figuring out how to get their first job. You can mentor them. So anyone can mentor. And remember this, your story can be a survival guide for someone else. Now, how do you find a mentee? So you can't go around and say, find a person and say, hey, I'm going to mentor you from tomorrow. That'll sound weird, right? But look around. There are interns, juniors, career switchers, potential mentees everywhere. Start small. Share what you know. You don't have to say that I'm going to mentor you. Don't wait for people to ask you for mentorship. That'll happen eventually, but don't wait for it. When you see an opportunity, when you see a person struggling, just try to help them. The news definitely spreads. When you are kind and helpful, the news definitely spreads and people will reach out to you. When you are a jerk, news spreads very fast. But when you are kind and helpful, still news spreads, but slowly. So mentoring doesn't need a calendar invite. 1 minute of encouragement can definitely change someone else's path. Here also I'll tell you a story. English is not my mother tongue. And at the beginning of my career, I would struggle to speak out. I'd always think in my mother tongue, then Google translate it in my mind to English, and form the sentences, then only I'll speak out. So there will always be a pause in between. When I try to speak, I have an idea. I think like this, form the sentences, then speak out. But by the time, entire team would have moved to next sprint. So I stayed quiet because I was scared that people, think I am dumb when I speak out. So one senior engineer in my team, she noticed it and she pulled me aside and told me, "Hey, Mani, you know what? You are not here to win a spelling bee competition. You don't have to impress people. You are here to be understood. As long as that is there, and you are doing just fine." And that gave me a perspective. And I stopped, that brought a change in me. I stopped apologizing and started focusing on making sense rather than sounding fancy with fancy words. And why I told this story is she didn't she didn't have a mentor badge. She wasn't running a mentorship program. All she did was help me out when I was struggling. And since then, I have had her as mentor, and we have had mentoring relationship for a long time. She helped me with a lot of things like learning skills and being better in my career with my promotions, all those things. So look around. When you find people who are struggling, just help out. And they or the people they work with will reach out to you for mentorship. Now, how do you actually mentor? Be consistent, not intense. What does this mean? You can't solve all the problems in one meeting. So try to meet often and not try to solve in one meeting. So listen before solving. So the best mentors and coaches, even though they have, when a mentee asks a question, they know the answer, they won't give out the answer. They would ask another question. That makes people think. Often, people who ask the question would come up with a better solution than the one that you have. So ask questions. And share failures, not just highlight reels. Sharing failures will build trust between your mentee and you. And give them space to grow. You are not their manager, right? You are their mentor. And this is a slide from my imposter syndrome presentation. I thought this would be relevant here as well. Initially when I started my career, I thought when I have to lead a team, I have to know all the answers. I am the person with answers. Anybody comes to me and asks a question, I don't know the answer, I would feel like I'm stupid. And because of this, I was scared to lead a team. But this is tour guide mentality, right? A tour guide is a person who knows the city or a place, and they can take you out and show you the place around. But that won't scale well. You can't, have all the answers. You can't know everything because things are changing so rapidly, right? And the other way to look at it is being a co-explorer. If you don't know the answer, say that I don't know the answer, and let's find the answers together. That is something that will scale. You don't have to tell the answer, but help find the answer. That is the co-explorer mentality. That will help for mentorship as well as leadership or anything that you look for. Now, almost at the end of my talk. So homework, I'd give you homework. I'm a teacher here. So find a mentor and a mentee. Think of someone whom you admire and reach out. And think of someone who looks up to you and offers support. So start with one small conversation. As I said earlier, your story might be a survival guide for someone else. And to summarize, mentoring isn't a ladder, it's a jungle gym. We are all in this together, helping each other along the way. Find your people, share your light, and of course, you are ready more than you think. And these are the sources, books that I read. If you have time, I'd suggest these books. It will give more, dig deeper in the topics that I summarized within this 30 minutes. Thank you so much for listening to me so far. And these are my coordinates. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Mani, for the very interesting talk. Now we have time for questions. There's a microphone behind. If you have any questions to ask Mani, kindly make use of the microphone.
And if we can't talk right now, I'll be around in the conference. Feel free to reach out to me anytime.
Thank you for the great talk and the good jokes. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
So when mentoring, there are skills involved in mentoring. Could you talk a little bit about those skills? So, for example, if a person asks, earlier on you said if a person asks a question, then often a mentor won't give a direct answer, but will guide the person to arrive at the answer. Are there any other nuggets like that that you can share with the group?
Yeah, the question is how, do mentoring, right?
Yeah, how to be a good mentor.
Okay, so I'll tell an example the same CTO I had mentored. So he is, at least when I saw him, he is a natural public speaker. He rocks the stage. He's mesmerized everyone. He does that a lot. And then I reached out to him. In this reverse mentoring session, I asked him for some advice about public speaking. Then he opened up and told me, Mani, you think I'm a natural public speaker? No, it is a learned skill. I'm an introvert by design. So every time I show up on the stage, I prepare intensely. I speak before the mirror, and I speak before my kids. And they actually, the kids, when you speak before them, they give the feedback right away. They don't worry about what you will feel, this and that. So they just show it right away, and that helps you learn. And what I learned from that answer is he was being vulnerable. When I asked for help, he's trying to connect with me. Till this moment, I remember this, when I can connect with him. Maybe this is right. And since then, I have put more work in preparing and coming for the talks. So being vulnerable and giving answers will build you trust. From then on, as you see and focus on the mission, you can give tips. And of course, there is more in that. I could only think of just this one thing when you ask the question.
It's a cool story. Sure. So it's show vulnerability, and I guess the other thing he did was he showed you that, look, this is hard, and it was hard for me too, but it's fine. Okay.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for asking the question.
I just had a question. I'm curious on your take about when you think you've saturated a mentor, or when you think having a mentor might be not beneficial. How would you go about identifying that?
I can't hear you.
I was just saying, how would you identify whether or not you've kind of got everything you've wanted out of a mentor, and how would you sort of identify whether a mentor is not being helpful or is not necessarily pushing you towards your goals? Do you have any advice around that?
Okay, so when do you decide on I need a mentor, and when you start a mentoring relationship, this doesn't work for me, when do you decide? Is that your question?
No, my question is more about the end of the mentoring relationship. So when do you know you've got everything out of the mentor? And how do you end that relationship, or how do you sort of identify that?
Got it. Okay. So when you have a mission and you review, you get into an engagement and you review progress every time. And then once you see that you are there, you have accomplished your mission, both you and your mentor feel like that, then you can end the relationship. It's not like breakup. Right?
Yeah.
You can always work with multiple mentors, and when you feel at any given time, it doesn't have to be one mentor. You might be working on different things for your career or your life. You can have many mentors, and when you feel you are close to the mission or accomplished your mission, when you and your mentor discuss that, and most of the time it's mentee who's driving the conversation, driving the mentoring relationship. It's not the mentor. So who's the person who is invested more in your growth is yourself, right? I mean, when I look for a mentor, I'm looking for my growth, so I should drive that conversation. And if I feel like, I have accomplished the mission that I was looking for, I can very well tell my mentor in a gentle way and end that mentoring engagement.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Sure. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your talk. It was like very vulnerable, and I was able to connect.
Thank you.
So I'd like to use a little bit of your framework maybe right now. So you said you need to find something you want to do. I would like to speak at this conference or any conference, and I know you are speaking at conferences. Could you maybe give me some advice? How did you come up with your first talk, and how did it all started?
For sure, for sure. Thank you for asking the question. So, just being open, forget about public speaking. Even one-on-one conversations are making me nervous. So, being on stage, I don't like that. But I like the after feeling, getting down from the stage. So that is why I come and talk on conferences like this. So, so this is the best place to start, I would say. EuroPython, the community is so friendly, and they cheer you. Like Daria here, who introduced me to EuroPython and PyConCZ. She even gave me a topic like, would you be interested to talk about imposter syndrome? And that clicked me. I was struggling with that. If I can give a talk, that would be great. And I took my time to prepare everything. And again, here at EuroPython, they have something called speaker mentoring, people who are experienced speakers here at EuroPython and other conferences, they help you prepare. And that is a very good thing. You don't know where to start, and you can as you prepare your talk, you can get feedback and refine your talk, and without being judged, you can get feedback and improve your talk. Once you are on stage, you don't have to worry about it. You can give the talk. So it's a very good place to start, I would say. Start small. Some topic that you think you are good at, or you struggled and you overcame that, that would be a good topic for you to talk. I hope I answered your question.
Okay, so you say start with something that you would like to talk about and refer to speaker mentoring, right?
Right.
Okay, I'll start with that. Thank you.
You're welcome.
We still have time for more questions.
Thank you, Mani. Great talk. When thinking about mentoring, do you always think we need to have a clear goal? Like when we meet in 3 months, like the one said, I want to give a talk. Do you need to have these goals and objectives, or is it just spend time with an experienced engineer, have chats about what happens daily at work and how things could be handled better? Do you think both are valid approaches, or do you think we need to have a clear goal to get something out there?
I think you would need a clear goal, but that goal could also be sometimes we are confused. I used to be passionate at my work, but I don't feel that passion anymore. And the mission could be getting clarity and rediscovering passion in my work. That is also a mission. And I think you can get more from that mentoring relationship when you have mission. I as an introvert, I prefer to have a mission, and when I go to a meeting, I want to be prepared so that I can get best out of that relationship or engagement that I have with the mentor. So I'd say mission would be a good thing to have. Hope I answered your question.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay, a round of applause for Mani.
Thank you so much.